What's up, Springfield Nation? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com, your home for Springfield local football all season long. Awful proud to be a part of it, no doubt. Tonight's player profile is sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions, a proud sponsor of Springfield Tiger football, and we're awful thankful for them to be the sponsor of this great player profile that we have each week on the Springfield Tigers. And today's guest is a senior. He plays guard. He plays defensive tackle. Two-way starter, senior Michael Wagner. First of all, Michael, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's dive into some stuff about Michael Wagner a little bit for Springfield Nation. We talk about some things. Obviously, Michael, this has been a very unique year. We'll get into some of those things, but talk about your family a little bit. Shout out to some siblings, anything that Springfield Nation and all the supporters that support this fine football team would like to know about Michael Wagner.
Well, I definitely would like to shout out my mom, my dad, my sister, because they're always there supporting me no matter what, and my grandma who can't come this year. And I want to shout out all the Springfield fans just coming to support us, even with the times.
Well, that's an awesome, and you know what? That's an awesome statement, and I'm glad you said that, Grandma. YSNLive.com, right? Hop on. We'll have it for you Saturday night, Berlin Center, Western Reserve. We hope Grandma enjoys watching Springfield Tiger football. Obviously, your mom and dad are huge supports for you. You're in a game, in these situations. How nice is that for you to know that your parents and your family are still able to be up in the stand supporting you?
Oh, it's just amazing knowing that I have my family behind me watching me. It's just great.
Yeah, it's a great feeling for sure. As we go into that, we're with Michael Wagner. He's a two-way starter, guard, and defensive tackle. Michael, let's talk about this football team a little bit. First of all, you're coming off a bye week, and now you're getting prepared to play Berlin Center, West Reserve. You've played them once before. You've had some success. Before we get into that, talk a little bit how the bye week has been for this football team.
It was definitely weird getting out of routine, but, I mean, it was pretty nice for us to have a nice week to get better and, heal up the bumps and bruises. So it was pretty good for us.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. A lot of players, a lot of coaches that I've been able to talk to, it's nice to give the legs a little bit of a break. You're a two-way starter, so I'm sure that the bumps and bruises have healed up a little bit. Now we get into the Berlin Center Western Reserve game before we get into that. But I want to talk about you as a football player. I watch you on film. I watch your games quite a bit because Coach Guerrero is a family member, so I have some interest in Springfield Nation, obviously. Your motor never stops. Now, let's go defense first. One of the things that I want to ask you is, obviously, your offense is phenomenal and gets a lot of, the talk, a lot of the rewards. But let's talk defense a little bit. I tell a lot of people this Springfield defense does not get the credit, in my opinion, that I think it should get. Talk about that defensive front and some of those guys that play solid defense on this football team.
I mean, our defense as a whole is just unstoppable. We have players everywhere just working to the whistle every single play. And between me, Brady, and AJ Stallsmith as the front three, I mean, our motors just don't quit. We can just keep working and working and working. It's just amazing.
But I've said this before, okay? And I'm going to say it to you because Brady was on last week. Yema was on. He's a receiver. He's one of those skill guys. Bo is Bo. But let's be honest, and I told Brady this. Football games are won on the offense and defensive line. Your defensive line is solid. You are one of those leaders. What's your preference? You like offense better? You like defense better? Which one does Michael Wagner like?
Definitely defense. All the way defensive player. I just love getting down and getting dirty on defense.
Yeah, because that's I don't want to say defense works harder than offense because that wouldn't be a fair statement. But defense, your defensive coordinator is fantastic. You guys play with, you play with a little bit of an edge. So we'll get into some of those things about the black jerseys. I want to ask you a few things about that. But let's go offense now. You're a guard. You've been a starter. Brady's at the center, does a nice job. A lot of experience on that offensive line. It seems like this offensive line, number one, gets along very well. Talk about your O-line a little bit.
Oh, we've all been friends since at least like second grade, so we just play as a fist, 5 people together, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, folks, we're with Michael Wagner. He's the guard on a well-oiled offensive machine with plenty of weapons. And Michael, I say obviously Bo is the leader. Your receivers are phenomenal, but what impresses me most about this football team is your two running backs. I think that those two guys give you guys a style that you can score quickly when you have to, and also you're that type of team that can go on those long drives and pound the football at people. Having two running backs like that as an offensive lineman, does that give you a lot of confidence when that run play is called that they're going to do their job?
Of course. Of course. I always know they have my back and they know where to cut and they know what to do. And I just know they always have my back.
Well, that's great to hear. We're with Michael Wagner, player profile, sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions, proud sponsor of Springfield football. They'll be at home Saturday night. Berlin Center Western Reserve will invade Springfield Nation. We'll have it for you on ysnlive.com/Springfield. So all you Tiger fans out there, and there's plenty of them out there, hop on the YSN. Obviously, tickets are limited for sure, but we're the only ticket in town to watch Springfield Nation play on Saturday night. That takes me into my next question. You're a senior. I asked those guys last week. You play in a state championship game. Obviously, not the outcome you wanted, but take me back. You're on that bus ride. You're on your way home. Obviously, what a season, first of all. I mean, to get to the state championship, to have all that falling. Obviously, there's disappointments, but I'm curious to see what your thoughts were. Are you right on that bus? Now I'm a senior. Are those thoughts flying right then and there for this senior class that let's get our senior year going and get back and get some unfinished business?
That was the very first thing I thought of on the bus, and I can say the same for everybody on the team. As soon as we got on there, we knew we were going back next year. We were going to do whatever it takes to get there.
Well, you know what I'm going to tell you. It's one game at a time, and I've talked with Coach Guerrero a lot. I talk with your teammates. And that's not something that you guys talk about a whole lot. This is a pretty business-oriented football team. It's week by week. Even though you don't talk about it, I know this football team has that stored in the back of their mind that they want to go and get that state championship. And in my opinion, Michael, this is a football team, no doubt in my mind, that has that opportunity, but it's 1 week at a time. So I wish you the best on that. Playing both ways, I'm sure, is not an easy task, but you guys do it quite well. With Michael Wagner, senior player profile, sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions, the proud sponsor of Springfield football. And we thank them for all they do at YSN and give us the opportunity to profile these fine student athletes at Springfield. All right, let's dive in. You're a senior. You go 6-0 in the regular season. Okay, you get the number 1 seed. The playoffs, let's be honest, go through Springfield at home. Talk about that. Black jerseys will be worn. Coach Guerrero loves the black jerseys. I know you guys do too. Talk about that experience now, senior year, knowing you guys take care of what you need to take care of. The black jerseys will be out. What's that feeling going out of that locker room, getting ready to play on your home field?
It's truthfully magical, especially with this being my last year. And, you know, home games aren't guaranteed. And now that they are, it's just amazing to know that I can finish most of my senior year on my home field.
Well, there's not a lot of folks that get a chance to do that. So soak up every second of that opportunity, Michael. What does that black jersey mean?
Everything. That is Springfield football to me. That black jersey is everything.
Now, those are special jerseys from what I understand. And I know you guys like to take that. I know you touched the rock coming out onto the field. Coach Guerrero, let's be honest, he's a little goofy. He is one of those coaches that likes pregame and the music and all those types of things. Do you notice a difference is my question. You're in the trenches, okay? Your parents, your family's there. Grandma's watching on YSN, and we thank her for that. Do you notice you always have a big following? Last year it was enormous. Student body's always big. Do you notice the lack of people being allowed into the games, or are you just playing football, doing what you love to do?
I noticed it first, but as the season went on, I was just grateful we were able to play, and I just focused on the game.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. It's your senior year. I'm going to be honest with you, and I know you think this. There was a time, all of us, and I'm sure you guys did, that I wasn't sure there was going to be a football season, and we're still in these precautions. You have to have social distancing. You guys are in your masks. I know Coach spends a lot of time on that with you. Talk about that. How have you guys been able to adapt to the social distancing as a football team?
We've adapted to everything quite fine. I mean, we just try to keep everything as normal as possible. Of course, with masks and everything, we just try to keep playing football and getting better week by week with it.
Well, that's what we need to do. Keep that Springfield football bubble, obviously, in school is very important. But this Springfield football team, folks, is something that YSN is proud to cover. I know your community loves watching you play. So let's dive in. Berlin Center, Western Reserve this week, Saturday night. You played them early in the season. If I remember correctly, I think they held the ball on a drive for 10 minutes, didn't score. You've watched some more film on them. Your thoughts on Berlin Center Western Reserve?
They've definitely gotten a lot better as of They are a very solid team, and it'll be a good game this week.
Yeah, there's no question. It'll be a good football game. We're proud to have it on YSN at 7 o'clock Saturday night. We'll have the kick. What's the key for you? What's Michael Wagner think this team needs to do best to get that win on Saturday night?
Work together as a unit like we do. Just keep harping on working together. That's what we do best.
Well, I think that's what describes this football team best. It's a tight-knit group that plays very hard. Not a lot of egos, not a lot of accolades it's a fine football team. So you guys keep doing what you're doing, and then the sky's the limit for this football team. Let's go off the field. Your senior year, opportunity would you like to play football in college, I guess, is the first question.
I would like to if the opportunity presented itself. I'm just taking it day by day as of right now.
Well, keep playing like you do, and opportunities will be knocking on the door, my man. But how about school-wise? What does Michael Wagner – have you any thoughts on what you'd like to get into in college?
I was thinking more of the trades, but, unless I get a scholarship, then – I could think about it. I'm just really uncertain right now.
Well, you know what I'm going to tell you. Dreams come true. Keep working hard. You're on a talented football team. Your motor never stops. So, like I tell people, that film does not lie on how hard people play, and you're one of those guys. So hopefully you get that opportunity to play college football and get that education that I know you're awful proud of. A lot of things that this football team does well, but I think your staff does a great job, obviously. What does Coach Guerrero mean to you as a football player?
I love Coach Guerrero. He's just been there for me since my freshman year. He's just such a great guy. I can't explain any more than that.
No, I hear you. He's one of those guys that spends a lot of time, I know, with you on and off the field, knows how to have fun, obviously, but also knows how to be demanding of his football team. So hats off to all of you. And, I've said this to those guys last week. I'm going to tell you this before we get into the rapid fire. You're one of those guys that Springfield Nation, you should be very proud that this young man goes obviously to Springfield local, represents the community very well in this fine football team. So I salute you on and off the field and in the classroom on what you do. But let's have some fun with a little rapid fire. I got some good questions for you. All right. First one. I'm going to go with my cousin first. I asked these guys last week, one word to describe Coach Guerrero.
Silly.
Okay. See, now you're more in tune with me. Silly, because when I had his interview last night, and he's like, Steve, come on, you don't have any questions for me. Silly but loving. Is that a fair statement?
That's a very fair statement.
I know. He loves his football team. So great answer, Michael. Favorite color Gatorade?
Has to be a Powerade blue.
Okay, you're a Powerade guy. Hats off to that. So Powerade, is a lot of Springfield Nation on Powerade, or is that just a solo choice?
We all go on the Powerade.
Okay, Springfield Nation, make sure Powerade is in that locker room Saturday night for the big boys should get it first. So I'm just going to say that. This is one I'm curious with. Michael Wagner's pregame hype music is.
It's a mix between rap and heavy rock.
Okay, that's a good mix. So there's a little mix. Rap is a little more offense. Rock, smacking somebody. Is that fair to say?
That's exactly right.
Okay. The headphones. I know Coach doesn't mind the headphones on pregame.
Right,
yeah. And you have music going in the stadium, so you do a good job of getting yourself ready to play. Favorite food?
So
you're a lineman, so these are tough questions for linemen.
I would have to go with chicken wings.
Chicken wings. See, I see you're one of my type of my guys, like a BW3s.
Yep.
All right, so if you have a favorite chicken wing place, shout one out. Where do you like the wings from?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, I like the ones over by in Springfield or off of 170. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. I'm drawing a blank, but I've had wings there before. But BW3s, I'm with you. That's one of my spots. Favorite college football team?
Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I think we're about 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks from an opener. I think it's an opportunity. This would be a nice year for you to have Springfield hopefully win a state title, because I think the Buckeyes are one of those teams that'll be in the mix for a national championship.
Definitely.
Okay, favorite pro football team?
I'm a Bengals guy.
Joe Burrow. I could respect that. I like watching Joe Burrow play. I think they got the right guy. I do. There's some growing pains there, but Joe Burrow and Mixon, I think those are two really good players. All right, let's go to some school. Favorite class you've had at Springfield?
Definitely intro to business with Mr. Dunn.
Okay, I was going to give a shout out to the teacher, Mr. Dunn. That's your guy in school?
That's my guy.
All right, go ahead. Shout out Mr. Dunn so the Springfield Nation could hear it.
Hey, Mr. Dunn, thanks for teaching me, man.
And that, oh boy. There you go, Mr. Dunn. Thanks for all you do. We're with Michael Wagner, player profile. He's a guard. He's a defensive tackle. He is all over the football field. Number 52 will be all over the place Saturday night. So Springfield Nation will have it for you on ysnlive.com against Berlin Center West Reserve. This show is sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions, and we're proud to have them as the Springfield Tiger football sponsor. Last one, Michael. Who's someone you model your game after in football? Is there anybody you look up to that you want to be like in football?
JJ Watt.
Okay, that makes sense because you are all over the field on both places, and JJ Watt has that motor ticking all the time. But here's the big one for me. Your models off the field obviously are parents, I'm sure.
Off the field, of course,
yes.
My mom. My mom is always there for me. I always want to do everything for her to make her proud.
And you know what? That will always be that way for you. My mom is 80 years old, and I still have those sentiments for my mom. I know she's proud of what you do. I know your dad is and your siblings, but moms have that special place in your heart. And so, Mom, shout out to you. Michael appreciates, I'm sure, everything you do. And Absolutely. And the last thing, I know your answer. How does Michael Wagner want this senior football season to end?
With the state championship.
Yeah, and I think we've said this before. A lot of teams think that and want to do that, are driven to do that. But folks, this football team here has the staff and obviously the talent to represent the yo, as I would say, in hopefully another state football championship. So, Michael, hats off again to you. All you do on the football field, all you do in the classroom and for the Springfield community. I wish you and all of us at YSN, I'll be watching Saturday night. Wish you guys the best of luck. Go beat Berlin Center West Reserve. Like you said, one game at a time. Get that first W Saturday night, and hopefully we'll talk again. So best of luck, and go have fun Saturday night.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty. Have a good night.